Bob Jenkins, Tommy Kendall, Calvin Fish, and Derek Daly back at Long Beach, California. The opening round of the 2004 Champ Car World Series. We're following Mario Haberfeld, who is currently running in the 10th spot, about 48 seconds behind the leader. This was one of the last teams to join the series. This is Derek Walker's team. The sponsor is Cummins, and they're running one of the two Reynard chassis.
Everybody else is running a Lola. Now, the Reynard was the lion's share of the field for years and years and years. But as it happens anywhere, becomes a better mousetrap. The Lola, by all accounts, is a better car in almost every situation. There were times last year where the Reynard was quite good, but it wasn't very consistent. And it all appears to center around the ride height. And as you look at Paul Tracy coming at us, you can just see a crack of daylight underneath the car. These cars run extremely low, and so they're all low, but the difference, literally, a difference of 100,000ths of an inch, 1/10 of an inch, can make a big difference. And the Lola was not nearly as ride height sensitive as the Reynard. On these bumps, you have to raise the cars up a little bit. It affects the Reynard a lot more negatively. The higher they run, the less downforce they make. The Reynard doesn't cope with that nearly as well.
Well, Paul Tracy has dominated things so far, leading every lap, and we are 38 laps into this 81-lap event. Tracy has led all the way so far and has now moved his advantage over Junqueira up to about 2.5 seconds. And he has only used 10 seconds of his push to pass.
You see Bruno Junqueira coming into the picture now. After the pit stop settled out, he was 1.5 seconds behind going into his stop. Because he stopped earlier and Paul had those laps on hot tires, when it settled out after the stop, he was 5.3 seconds behind. Bruno has been on a tear since then, running between 4 and 6/10 of a second faster than Paul. The gap is now down to just exactly 2 seconds. Whether this is Paul Tracy just managing the pace and saying, you know what, I've got 5 seconds to give back, I'm going to try to save some fuel so that I can have a shorter stop at the end, or if he's given everything he has, we have no way of knowing that. But Bruno has been, other than on the very start, has been probably the quickest car on the track.
Our lifestyle segment reporter is Bronte Tagliani. She is a model, and she is the wife of Alex, who is a regular competitor on the Champ Car World Series. She's going to be reporting for us from various locations throughout the complex here this weekend and every weekend. And when you're married to one of the world's best race car drivers, you quickly learn the ins and outs of weekend travel, which is often quite grueling. And Bronte knocked on the door of the man who has won the race last year to see how some drivers travel and travel in style.
When you're on the road for more than 9 months of the year, you just want a place that you can go back to and relax. And one of the guys that has that is this series' reigning champion, Paul Tracy. Let's go and have a look inside. Hello.
Come on in.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, how are you?
Can I get you to give me a tour?
Yeah. So this is where I usually hang out. I'm usually laid out on the couch right here.
So this is your trophy case right here. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this trophy in particular?
This trophy was given to me last year by a fan. I'll get it out of here. It's was a gift from a fan. It says the 88th running Indianapolis 500 first place.
So we're going into the freezer.
Into the freezer. There's really nothing in here except some coffee and one lean cuisine. Well, all my clothes are kept in the closet, which is kind of a secret compartment. You press this button right here.
Oh, wow. It's like abracadabra.
Yeah.
Like your shower here.
Yeah.
And good race or bad race, I guess that's where you go to.
Some days have a nice hot shower, and some days when you're mad have a cold shower.
Just to cool off a bit?
Yeah, hit the button here.
Not a bad way to travel the country. I'm not so sure that he'll be taking that to South Korea and Australia and other events like that, but boy, what a way to travel, and we thank Bronte for allowing us to go inside Tracy's motorhome. And Tracy is the leader now. Bronte's husband, Alex Tagliani, is having a very good race, running in third position, Calvin.
He certainly is, and Paul Gentilozzi, we saw Bronte doing a great job there. How's her husband doing this afternoon? Well, we're on a little different strategy right now. We're the heaviest we're going to be in the race, so we're lost a little bit of time to Dominguez, who's on a short fill. I think we see Bruno catching Paul. They got a different strategy going, too. It won't matter till the last lap.
You started on the option tyre on the primary, now with a shorter potential third stint, Paul. Which tyre will you use for that?
Well, the last stint will stay with the baseline tire. You don't know what's going to happen to track conditions. Better to be safe.
All right, Paul, best of luck. Meanwhile, let's see what the leader's doing. Derek Daly.
Neil Mickelwright is the team manager here for Paul Tracy. Paul, we see Junqueira begin to eat away at Tracy's lead. Are you concerned?
Not terribly. I think obviously Paul's been doing this a long time. He hasn't made any complaints or any problems with the car. I mean, in the last go around here, this past lap there, we picked up a tenth back on him. So we know that Junqueira's got to stop before we do. So there's no point blasting way off into the lead if we know that he's going to stop before we are anyway. So you think there's some psychology going on.
Thanks, Neil. I would say, boys, he sounds confident.
Yeah, but without question, the lead is being eaten into, so to speak, because we talked about how he had a 2-second lead not too long ago. Last lap, it was down to 1.3, and I'm not so sure, but what it is it even less than that right now. Junqueira catching Tracy at the Long Beach Grand Prix. A beautiful setting here in Long Beach, California, as the 30th anniversary Grand Prix is underway with 45 laps completed. Here are the standings. Tracy, Junqueira, Tagliani, Dominguez, and Bourdais are the top 5. And there is Alex Tagliani running in 3rd position, and one of the best races on the track at the moment is between himself and Mario Dominguez, who is just a few car lengths behind. There is Dominguez in the Herdez, one of the 2 Herdez cars.
Now, during that break, I was trying to figure out all the different strategy options, and with the new fuel strategy, the elimination of the mandatory fuel windows, it's opened things wide open, and you've got 2 different competing pressures. One is, if it stays green, you always want to stop as late as you can so that you minimize that penalty from being out on cold tires while your competitors are out on hot tires. Going exactly the opposite way, if you figure the longest you can run on a tank of fuel is 31 laps, if any one of these guys in, say, the top 10 stops at lap 50, knowing they can make it to the end from that point on, that person potentially is sitting on a huge gold mine. If a yellow comes out, that guy will be able to bunch back up to the back of the pack with these guys still having to make another green flag stop. So the leaders have to balance that. They got to keep their eyes. They want to go longer than the guys right behind them, but if anybody stops early, that's the first domino to stop. So I'm watching to see who the first car to pit is within that window where we think they can make it to the end.
It is a very interesting strategy that has to be employed because of this rule regarding 2 green flag pit stops. And look now at how close Dominguez is to being in charge of 3rd position from Tagliani. Paul Tracy is the leader, and he has led all the way so far. We'll be right back.